Oh, there is. Okay, Matt's on, Tammy's on.
Hey, Bob.
Good evening, how are you?
Good.
Evening, Gary. Jerry, good evening.
Bob,
Good evening, Sheriff. Lind. Everybody's coming up now. We have a few more minutes here.
Bob, if you wanted to, when you're talking about the report, I can go ahead and share the screen and I can bring it up. I don't know if you wanted to have it up on the screen or not.
Yeah, well, why don't we do that in case there are people with comments? Good evening. I got 16 of us or 14 of the committee members here, so I think we'll get started here. Thank you for joining us this evening, and thank you for pushing it back to accommodate my schedule here another day. Hopefully we got this completed up. As stated in the past, we're doing this this is being recorded and we are doing it on Zoom 100%. In the last week, the draft report, which had been published about a month ago online, was updated. I did that following our meeting last Tuesday evening. Based on some suggestions that came in, plus some additional information that the state was looking forward to. Earlier this afternoon, Matt sent it out to all the committee members, so hopefully we're all on the same document. I have a problem printing mine, but that's neither here nor there. I do have, I believe, what is the final of the draft. The biggest thing, you want to pull it up, Matt, and we'll just take a quick look at it. The major change on it is on page 1. There's a new attachment B. And if we go to that attachment, which if you just flip down to that page, whatever number that is, it's almost to the end. Okay, here comes up B. So attachment B is what we thought we ought to add on based on what the governor's office was suggesting. And it is nothing more than the discussion items over the 3-month period that we were holding them and who actually introduced the issue. So for instance, the first one, the sheriff's office review, so on and so forth. The sheriff, Sheriff Sharon, and Under Sheriff Mazar made that presentation. And as you see up above, it just basically says that. And then at the bottom of that page, there's just a little explanation of how it's a 2-page document. So that was primarily the biggest change on there. Now, Matt, you said today you made a couple of changes.
The changes I made were also relatively minor. As you remember, John Bennett wasn't able to participate, so I had taken his name off as one of the members. and then change the number from being a 20 member to a 19 member. I also, a lot of it was wordsmithing. I was just capitalizing sheriff and under sheriff in certain areas, and a couple of tiny word changes. There wasn't much that I did besides just wordsmithing it, and that one thing I just said with removing John Bennett from the listing. And then I believe also the sheriff had Carolyn go through and she lined a few things up a little cleaner and neater. And I don't think she did anything else much besides that.
All right. Okay. So at this point, is there any other comments, corrections, questions concerning the report as presented? Or is now being shown, which again, it was very minor changes. The biggest one was the new attachment B and explanation of that. And then I made some minor corrections going through to identify that we had made that change. And then as Matt just said, some cleanup that he had found that needed to be done. So,
Matt, is this going to be shared with legislature before our meeting on the 15th so they can review it at a time in case they have any questions?
Definitely, as soon as this body adopts it or recommends for adoption, then I can send it out to the full legislature.
Thank you.
and Gary, if you so wish, I believe you're the chair now of public service.
That's correct.
If you so wish, I'll be happy to come and make the formal presentation, and deliver the document, both to that meeting. I don't know about Ways and Means if you need it again, but, and then the full legislature. I was planning on attending both to move it on.
It'd be fine with me, Bob.
Okay, and you're meeting upstairs, right? You are meeting in the committee meetings.
Yes, that's correct. You need to get a hold of Pam ahead of time and tell her you're going to be in attendance.
Pardon me? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
He just said you got to get a hold of Pam ahead of time and tell her that you're going to be in attendance.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's a limited number of spaces available in the room, so we just like to kind of have a rough feel for how many people are coming.
Okay, I will get that done. Okay. So, for the members of the task force wish to come, obviously, if we can get you in the room, we more than welcome. Is there any additional corrections, comments? Seen enough of it, seen enough of me. With that,
Well, I just want to say, Bob, thank you for taking on the role that you took on, for being agreeable and assisting with this process. I'm definitely very appreciative, along with Julie Carasone and with her input and her observations and her assistance on the report as well. I'm very appreciative, and of everyone's time in general, coming together, listening to the presentations and the issues brought forth primarily by the sheriff's office, and the great job that they've done with this. Thanks a lot, Bill and Brad, and pass along thanks to your other staff that came out and presented. And I think it was a good exercise, a good process to go through. I hope that this continues on. I think this really highlights how Bill runs a transparent and open shop, and that he's open to ideas. And hopefully this will continue on, and people feel engaged, or people feel that they can reach out to their county government leaders with ideas and suggestions, and that it'll be listened to and it'll be considered. So I think it was a worthwhile exercise and process, and I'm very appreciative of everyone giving up their time to help us out.
thank you. And I have now read, I don't know, so many of the other reports gone in from other counties and cities, etc. And I mean, most of them are, larger entities than us, Genesee County Sheriff's Department. But from what I found personally, and other people have come to me forth, plus what they're saying, we should be very, very proud of our Sheriff's Department. Not that they are, and I have two sheriffs looking at me right now, the former Sheriff Gary Mayhart and the current Sheriff Sharon. not that they're ever going to say they got the most perfect department. Obviously, that's been the whole stress of this thing is they got an ongoing training process, and it started X number of years ago, and it's the current sheriff and undersheriff are very much continuing to push that and keeping us abreast. So when we talked about something during this process, I found, yes, we had a baseline, and Sheriff Sharon was saying we can improve that by doing whatever he was suggesting and so on and so forth, which is great. So I really feel I walk away from this process feeling very comfortable that we are in excellent shape. So thank you. Do you need a motion or anything?
Bob, I second that, especially since the 2 meetings that we both attended for the focus groups and everything like that. Bob and I, over a Zoom meeting, attended 2 focus groups about this process. And I will have to say, and I said it to the people running the focus group, that we have a pretty good sheriff's department. Is there some things that they can expand on? Of course. But, you know, we have a pretty good baseline. And I'm very proud to say that between our legislators, our Genesee County manager, our legislators like Shelley Stein, Bob Bausch, everybody that's involved in this process is very open-minded. Because from those focus groups, it sounds like other groups are not open-minded like we are. So I wanted to say kudos to that.
Just a comment that I would like to add is the fact that this has had to be accomplished remotely. And the comfort that we have found in each other and being able to share comments is really indicative of the community that we live in here, and the transparency, and wherever the light shined on whatever topic that our sheriff brought forward for specific meetings, there wasn't anything that was off limits for discussion. So I am particularly proud of the fact that we could do this together remotely, which is uncomfortable, right? And still feel that we've put together a unified report with one voice. And Bob, I do have to say to you, thank you very much for taking on this leadership and moderator role. I greatly appreciate your wisdom, your time, and your thoughtfulness that you've brought forward. Thank you. And thank you to each and every member of our committee. Greatly appreciate it, because it takes all of us to accomplish these wonderful tasks that are assigned to us, but even more so to learn about each other. So I'm very appreciative. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Do you need a motion out of this task force, or just what are you looking for?
Bob, I would recommend, to take a motion, a second,
Okay.
do a vote on it, and then I think that we can seal it up and hand it off to Gary at Public Service, then that we've passed it.
This is Greg Post. I so move.
Okay, it's been a motion by Supervisor Post to forward the document on to the Public Service Committee and the full legislature. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay, John, thank you. Any additional comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Bye.
Okay, I think we are done. Thank you, Matt. And I will. You all have a good evening now, and I told my wife we'd be done by 6:30.
Just in time for dinner, Bob.
Yeah, that's what she wanted to know. Okay, well, thank you all. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay, bye now.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.